there, my name is Malka and I post videos about skincare and beauty based off of my experience, and that's all the intro I'll do. So one of the most common questions I get about Glossier in my DMs or in the comment section is about where to buy them. So you can check out my video and I've pinned a comment with the links for sellers that I know of or have bought other stuff from. But most of the time Glossier is way more expensive to buy over here, and not everyone either wants to pay that price or has someone coming down from the States whom they can bring it with. And I was worried about finishing Dusk and not having a replacement for it, or not having Dusk as a reference if I did find a replacement. So I went ahead and I picked up two different blushes in the Indian market. So I'm going to compare the Glossier Cloud Paints, Flower Beauty Blush Bombs and Henaa Hainaa Lush Rouge. So I picked up Nectar and Melon from Flower Beauty to replace Haze and Dusk from my Glossier Cloud Paints collection. Nectar is close to Dusk depending on how you layer it and what your skin tone is, while Melon is a bright coral blush, very unlike Haze. I also picked up the Henaa Hainaa Lush Rouge in the shade Russet, which is closer to the terracotta shade of Dusk, but also has a deeper, more rich tone on application. Now Flower Beauty also has the shades Bitten and Cinnamon, where Cinnamon is like a darker version that would also be pretty close to Dusk, and Bitten is almost an exact dupe for Haze. But I found that those colors are much darker than what I want to use on a daily basis, which is why I picked Nectar and Melon. Also, I didn't really want to replace Haze because the shade is a lot darker than what I can use on my face, and it also leaves a sort of reddish tint on my cheeks, which makes my acne look way more inflamed even though it's not actually active. So the first shade is Dusk. It blends out into this really nice terracotta nude, and it does have a more water gel texture. You can blend it out as much as you want for a seamless finish, and when it dries, it gives off a sort of satin matte look. Then comes the Henaa Hainaa blush. This is a richer pigment and dries down more matte than the Cloud Paint. It blends into a nice rich brown that can suit a lot of different skin tones, and it can be built up as needed. Then comes Flower Beauty. The shade Nectar has a lighter tone than Dusk, but depending on your skin tone, it can look similar. It is a little more orange in its shade, and it does have a more gel-like texture compared to the more water-like Cloud Paint. You can see, depending on the light, the shades look similar and just have a little bit of redness or orange to them. Okay, so using the Flower Beauty blush on my face, I only take about one drop and dab that across my cheeks. It does have a good color richness, so I work in layers if necessary. I also blend it out till I'm satisfied with the look. And because it's more gel-like, it does have a dewy wet finish and it feels a little wet through the day, so do give it time to dry to prevent transfer. As you can see, it does sort of replicate the Cloud Paint's seamless sort of watery finish, and please excuse the lighting switch, there was a giant cloud that moved away mid-filming. The henna blush is quite pigmented, so I make sure to dab small spots on. It's also not water gel-like, so it takes more effort to blend, but with a good primed base, it does create a lovely terracotta blush, and you can of course build it up as desired, but when it dries, it has a mostly matte finish. I also love how it highlights my cheekbones because it is slightly richer than the Cloud Paints. Coming to Dusk from Glossier, this brown blush adds a light watercolor wash to your skin and really gives off a no makeup vibe. I personally love this formulation the best because it blends superbly and has the right combination of water to gel. It can be layered to look darker as well, but it dries down to a satin matte finish and reflects light quite superbly when outdoors for that always dewy look. Moving to the pinks, now Haze creates this really rich berry look that can suit a lot of people, but unfortunately doesn't suit me. But if you like that pink berry flushed look, this one's for you. I wanted something with a little more coral to it, so I picked Flower Beauty in the shade Melon. It's a lovely coral pink that brightens up your face easily and mixes well with other brown shades if you want to play around. And as you can see, the formulation for Flower Beauty is a lot more gel-like than the watery cloud paint, even though they both give off a really nice sheer look. Although the Flower Beauty blush bombs can have a little more opacity to them in comparison to the Glossier cloud paints. Okay, now swatching Melon on my cheeks, I use the tiniest drop at first because it has a rich color payoff. I do like how it adds some warmth to my skin and it also gives it a really fresh spring vibe. Plus, it highlights your cheekbones really well because it just blends out enough to create that minimal look and gives your cheeks that really healthy, flushed look. Coming to Haze, you can see that it works almost like a cheek stain in the way that it's more watery than Melon. Again, I do enjoy the formulation for the cloud paints more than the other options for this very reason. And it's very easy to blend and play with, and it doesn't really feel like there's makeup sitting on your face at all. Here's a quick comparison of all the shades together. Each one also has a different finish and gets dewier from left to right, and you can see that they all blend out to look similar and have a very no makeup look, and you can always build them up as desired to get the intensity you want.